Hello and welcome to Life with Randy and Grace, living in full expression. And we are talking about entertaining today, hosting, being a hostess, having people come to your home. I will say one thing right off the top. Perfection is not your friend. So we are going to be talking about how do you do that? How do you entertain people? How do you keep a gathering happy and friendly and simple so that we can make our guests feel truly welcome? Right? That's the key word. For me, the key word is I don't care if it's a popped in for a sandwich. I don't care if you delivered a piece of mail. I want our house to be very welcoming. That is a key word for me.
Well, the more we get into these things, everything is difficult.
Yeah.
Planning family vacations last time is difficult. Hosting a party can be stressful and difficult, and you want to have fun. Let me ask you this. What's your objective in having a party? Is it for you to have fun or for your guests to have fun?
First of all, we don't have that many parties. We have maybe one party a year, but
We have more than that.
we do not.
Well, how do you define a party?
A party is multiple guests
If a party
for
is
the
two
purpose.
or more, we have multiple parties.
Okay, forget it. We don't have parties. We're not big
Well, so
party
you're
givers.
talking about large parties.
I'm talking, yes, more than 4 or 5 people. Yes, a party is big.
Oh, so the subject today is large parties.
No,
Not just-
no, the subject today is hosting. How do you host a gathering? That could be 2 people or it could be 15 people like we're having in a few weeks.
Then we have a lot of gatherings per year.
We do have gatherings. Yes, we do. Yes,
We're
we
talking
do.
about gatherings or parties.
We're talking
See,
about
it's
hosting.
complicated already.
We're talking about hosting. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, let's just start. Romans chapter 15, verse 7. Verse 7. Therefore, welcome one another as Christ has welcomed you, all for the glory of God. So the answer to your question is, am I doing it for me? Am I doing it for them? I am doing it for the glory of God. It is about being welcoming. You have sometimes when you have been welcoming to strangers, you have welcomed angels unaware. So
Okay, I can buy that.
so it's just about being welcoming. I talk a lot in our Bible study and our retreats that we do once a year. We talk about having the gifts of the Spirit, and one of mine happens to be entertaining, in a sense, in making a welcoming place. So I am very comfortable with this topic. I love having people in my house. I love it when they walk through the door. It doesn't matter if I know them for 20 years or if I know them for 5 years. Don't go there.
Does it matter? Does it matter if you're entertaining friends or people you don't know for some reason, or you're having a party to raise money for a family that needs help or from another cause? Does it matter what type of guests you have
We've never done that
at
either.
your party?
It's not in terms of my attitude. No,
Okay.
none of that. None
All
of
right.
that matters to me. It's
Okay, I have another question.
having a welcoming attitude from the very beginning. And as I said just before we started, perfection is not your friend. Perfection is not your friend almost in anything you do, but it is especially not your friend if you're trying to entertain people.
But being nowhere near perfection is your friend. I mean, you're like, whatever, let's have a good time.
I
don't get upset.
I do not receive any of that.
Which is a
That
cool
is
way to be.
that is
It's a
not
cool
true.
way to be.
That is not true. You have to balance doing your best with something with making yourself crazy about it being perfect.
I like the word balance. Now I'm on board.
I mean,
I can handle it.
you
I'm
know.
on board with balance. I can handle it. I have a question. Doing a host party, should people have a theme? Some people come up with like a theme. I mean, some are obvious if it's a Christmas party or other, but should a party always have to have a theme? or you just say, let's get together and it doesn't matter?
A gathering does not always have to have a theme.
Oh,
I think when you're
are we having a
talking,
gathering or a party? A gathering, you said, could be a
Is
few
it a
people. We're
few
talking
people?
about, I thought, a party of like 6, 8, 10, 12.
have you noticed he keeps going back to this party thing? I'm not talking about parties. I'm talking about just welcoming people into your home.
Uh,
If you're having
oh,
a party,
okay.
which to me is upward of 6 guests, a party, then it helps to have a theme, to organize it, and to, what's your favorite word? Plan. So if you're having
Sure.
a party, then it does help to have a theme because it keeps you on course and it keeps you happy because you know what you're doing. You set the plan out and you can check things off. So yes, if you're having a party with many people, it helps to have a theme.
And if you have a theme, would it be a good idea to have some people do like little introductory games, like, everybody gets a question to find out about somebody else to initiate conversation?
Yes, if you have,
You like that?
especially, I do like that idea, if you're having many people who all don't know each other. So sometimes you do that. Sometimes you have a group of people and they don't all know each other. That used to happen for us around Christmas sometimes. We have different groups of friends that we would bring in and they didn't know each other. So yes, you can do that. And certainly if you're from the corporate world, you've done all of those little warm-up games where people get to know each other. So there's a stockpile of them.
Well, a lot of our marriages had parties where you knew everybody, and I have like 3 friends. So you knew everybody, I knew 2 or 3. So we had different things we're dealing with here.
Right. That's why you were
So a little game may
you were
help
the only
me.
one who had to play the game.
Okay, a little game would help me.
Okay.
Well, you're the big E extrovert. I'm more introvert. So it would help me
Okay.
break the ice.
Okay. Well, the next time we have another couple over for a gathering, we'll play a game so that you will feel included.
Well, I finally understand. We're talking about hosting in any form, not a party. I got it.
Wow.
I got it.
That didn't take long, did it?
I finally got it.
But the thing is, what
Don't
are
say
the
but,
things?
because if you say but, everything before that means nothing.
That's true. That is very true.
Say and.
That's a language rule.
You said but, you just ruled out everything I had to say before that you don't agree with. So don't say but, say and.
You are correct.
Thank you.
And still,
Thank you.
it is important.
And still, I'm correct. Thank you.
It is important to know what you enjoy doing. I would suggest, in terms of like little tips, perfection is not your friend. Don't try to be perfect. If you're preparing a meal all on your own, do something that you're familiar with. Don't be like me.
Don't experiment.
Don't experiment with new foods and new people. Although I do that sometimes.
And speaking of new people, she's talking about a gathering. I came home one day and she says, we're having some people over for dinner tomorrow night. I said, oh, who are these people? She says, I don't know. I met them at Walmart. I mean, this is the kind of life I met them at Walmart. Turns out she was very nice. She reminded Grace of her cousin.
My cousin.
All the guy talked about was how much his brother screwed him in an
Whatever.
investment and he would never shut up. So that
Honey.
didn't last long. Anyway. Okay.
Yes, I can meet people in a lot of different places. We can't go on a cruise together because he says he doesn't want me talking to people.
Well, I can never get to dinner. You're talking to 15 couples on the way to dinner. We miss our reservation or we're just late. I'm hungry.
Anyway, so whoever, you must know what you like to prepare, what's easy for you. Don't put any stress on yourself. That is, I think, a big thing. And that's why perfection is not your friend, because anything that makes you stressful, you're not going to be welcoming to your guests. And if you're under stress, they're not going to feel at ease.
Well,
So-
that's a very good point. Now I'll tell you my biggest problem with a gathering
Okay.
of any size.
Of any size.
Any size.
Are we gathered?
Not you and me. No, we're not.
We are gathered here
On a
together.
gather. It's a problem problem when we're working all the time. I mean, I'm fixing the drinks or, whatever for people. I'm the beverage man. You're serving the food. Everybody else is talking, and we don't get to really relate with it, talk with everybody, enjoy the party because we're working. So, we're hesitant. We don't really hire a bartender or a caterer. It's expensive. We have, but not very often. That would be a great idea if you could afford it. In fact, I think that's the best idea if you can afford it. But most people like us, we don't want to do that much. So how do you get around that?
Well, we do get around that. We open the.
Yeah, we keep
We
working.
we keep the food out so people can get it when they want. We keep the drinks out so people can get it when they want and they can take care of themselves. We are not always working.
Well, maybe you're not, but I'm not letting people go over to the bar unattended. We have a bunch of drunks.
First Peter chapter 4, verse 9, show hospitality to one another without grumbling.
I'm not grumbling. I'm just saying it's a lot of work. Sometimes we don't have as much fun because we don't socialize as much because we're busy. And you can say leave the food out, but you're always running back and forth, getting something else out, doing something else. And then, anyway, it's a point to consider, correct?
And I'm having fun while I'm doing it. And most of the time, people are right there and want to help you. And I'll have to say that when I was younger, I definitely did everything. Everything had to be perfect. I was doing it myself. I didn't let people in the kitchen. That's not the way I am now. It's much easier to have people over. We have, in a couple of weeks, we have about 14 or 16 people coming. Everybody's bringing a dish. And, a couple of people are staying over for the night. It's going to be an easy breezy thing.
Planning. So in this party, you've asked people to bring a dish or whatever, planning ahead. So it minimizes what you have to do.
That's true. Even for Thanksgiving holiday, I do 3 or 4 things, and then other people bring things as well. So and that's the other thing. When we were talking about vacations, we were saying everybody should have a task so they feel involved. I think it's the same way with gatherings. If people feel that they can bring something, whether it's a dessert or an appetizer, it becomes their party too. So I think it's important to get people involved.
Well, what you talked about before, another way of saying it, it's a good idea, I think, to have setup stations where you have little food stations or for the hors d'oeuvres, whatever, depending on the kind of party. And then you have little drink stations, which people can help themselves, and then we'd have more time to socialize.
Maybe we should put a saddle on the dogs, and they could carry things.
Like beer?
Like beer. Maybe we put a brandy disc under Whiskey's neck.
That'd be a disaster. Very creative idea, but a disaster.
But, okay. So tip number 1, don't strive for protection. Tip number 2 to this whiskey thing I just said, keep things simple. The simpler it is, the easier it is to handle. You won't get stressed out. Tip number 3, don't be stressed. Do the things that you're comfortable with doing, because if you're stressed, your guests will be stressed.
Well, that's true, but like everything else in life, it's a lot easier to say don't be stressed than to actually not be stressed. And then I know we tend to put stress on ourselves, but like, do you ever worry, does the house clean enough? Have we done it for preparation? There's a lot of work to a gathering. You tend to clean the house. What are you looking at? I have to vacuum. I have to vacuum before the party. It takes me an hour.
Sometimes if the house isn't clean, I'm not having the gathering, number 1. Number 2, there are some people who make a point of checking things out. So you just have to know that, and you're either comfortable with it or you're not. But I know there are some people who look. I had one person come to my house once, and I wasn't exactly monitoring everything she did, but afterward, she told me that she was, I don't know, almost shocked that the kitchen stove area was so clean because I had in that house, this was in Wilmington, I had spice racks on either side of the stove. And she must have checked them out. And she told me that she was pleasantly surprised that they weren't greasy.
That's because you never cooked.
That is not true. That is not true.
Well, one
That is
thing,
not
one of the
true.
things I do enjoy about having a gathering is I like to play with the lights, kind of have some mood lighting or, change the lights around.
You absolutely, he's exactly right. He goes through a lot of consternation when people come over. He does. He makes sure the lighting is exactly right. You do. You
Oh.
make sure all the drinks are exactly right.
I wouldn't say consternation.
I would say
But
consternation.
I enjoy this. It doesn't stress me out. I enjoy the messing with the lighting. I enjoy putting on the right music
Yes.
around the house.
Yes.
I think
yes.
music's important for a party. But half the time, you're dancing in the party.
Yes, when we have a party.
And
We do
or
have
singing.
dancing.
You and the girls are singing.
Right.
Christmas party. You sing
Christmas party. We sing Christmas
Oh
carols.
my God. Woo. Way loud. But
We have a lot of singers in our group.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but now I will understand you are he plans and perfects.
all right, where are we going now?
Okay. One thing I think that can be important is how you can set the mood with either your little stations or your dinner table. I probably need or table decor. And if you want to have a theme, they have everything. Tableclothfactory.com. They have everything from candles to sprinkles to charger plates to doodads to tablecloths to napkins. It's amazing. So if you are having a big party and you want to be able to set a theme, there are so many wonderful, wonderful resources out there to help you do that. Make things easier, take it off your brain. So,
Well, we've never done this, but I think a great idea would be use party planners, but it's probably expensive. But party planners would be a great idea. You don't want to do that.
yeah, if I'm planning a wedding or okay, absolutely. If it's over 100 people, I'm getting a party planner. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, we're back to the size issue again. No party planner for less than 80 people. I disagree. I think a party planner would be great for 12 people. But I don't know that I want to pay for it, but it would be fun. Just like decorating the house for Christmas. I'd love to hire a professional
Don't
decorator.
you think, okay, you tell me, don't you think this goes under that label of trying to make things perfect? A party planner?
No, it's trying to make things less work for me is what it's trying to do. Not perfect. My objective is
so
not
it does.
perfection.
So the party planner can screw up. You don't care as long as they're the ones screwing up.
You took it too far the other way. Balance. Not perfection, but I wouldn't have to do as much work, and I'm sure it would be good, and we could critique it and tell them what to do. Be a good idea. Like, I'd pay them to put up Christmas decorations. As it is, you do it, and I don't do much because you love it.
I do.
Oh my God.
I do. So, yes, I think I can see where if you're having an enormous number of people, you might need a party planner. But other than that, I think you can probably handle it.
So, do we have parties? I'm not sure. Most of our parties are fun, I have to say. Maybe I'm prejudiced, but what if the party starts to get a little boring, die down? How do you keep the flow? That's up to the host to do that, correct? What would you do in that situation? Put you on the spot.
I've never had that happen.
I can believe that.
I've
We do
never
have
had
good
that
par-
happen.
We do have good parties.
If a party is winding down, I wouldn't worry about it. People will just leave.
You are great at not worrying. You got this down pat. You're good at that.
I don't know. I think
I do worry more than you do.
you're imagining things here to go wrong.
I'm just what ifs. I'm sure this happened. I've been at some parties that it happened, not yours.
Did you leave?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. You know,
Oh, God.
poor people out there, and they're having some gatherings. You're making it sound like it's a, you know.
Speaking of leaving, we actually have the opposite problem, and we've had this quite often.
That's true.
Where
That is
people
true. That's a bigger problem.
Won't leave.
Yes, that's
And
a
I've
bigger
often
problem.
thought about how to handle that. Some tactful ways. I mean, I have thought about just saying, "Okay, everybody, I'm going to bed. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Thanks for coming."
Well,
That's probably not the best way to handle
no,
it.
that's a good way to do it.
A good way?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
But we sometimes they last a little longer.
I got a better idea. Saying, "Thank you for coming. You guys can leave if you want. We need some help cleaning up. Hang around if you want to, and everybody will leave."
Well, okay. Now wait a minute. One that is when that would happen. If things are going a little long, I do start to clean up. I do. I've done that before.
Do you ask for help? That'll make them leave.
No,
quicker.
I don't.
Oh.
No, they join in.
Oh, or
And
leave. Or leave.
I've never had anybody leave because I was cleaning up, but they would clean up with
Oh,
me.
yes,
and
you have. Me. I go to bed.
This is true. After a party, and I mean a party, so we're talking over 16 or 20 people, I usually like to clean up. So this is after everyone's gone. I like to clean because I do not like waking up to a mess in the morning. So I would rather clean, and he will do that. He'll say, "That's it, last person out the door. I'm going to bed." But I will stay up and clean because it makes me feel better to wake up.
That's why I'm perfectly happy cleaning the next day.
You're right, I'm not.
So, to my advantage.
To your advantage. That's exactly right, and I have no problem with that.
The other thing you can do if the party's ending is remove the food and casually kind of shut down the drinks, and then people will leave. Maybe.
I cannot believe how many problems he has pointed out with this. This is really eye-opening to me.
See what goes through my head that never goes through your head?
Never goes through
I'm
my head.
always thinking, I'm not sure you are thinking a lot.
Okay, that's,
No, I don't mean that
You
derogatorily.
know,
I mean about the party stuff. About the party stuff. I think about more things to worry about than you do.
about the party, about life, about everything.
True. Very true. That is true statement. I don't know what you think about.
I'm gonna
I
have
don't
to-
know how that little brain works.
I'm gonna have to do something. He's gonna have a heart attack with all this nonsense.
I don't worry that much, but compared to you, it's a much. But I don't really worry that much. You're very amazing
Yes,
with that.
you do
just
worry a
don't
lot.
worry. No.
I'm learning so much. We should have done this podcast years ago.
You think
what I'm learning?
I don't know what you think. I think you think the angels are going to take care of it,
No,
or I think I have to help.
no. I'll tell you. I've told you this before. This is exactly how my brain works.
Can't
Imagine a
wait.
huge Ferris wheel, right? Don't you just love to get on a Ferris wheel? You get on a Ferris wheel, and it goes up one step and then up until the whole thing is loaded. Well, that's how I think. Until something is at the top of the Ferris wheel, I don't think about it. When it's at the top of the Ferris wheel, it gets my attention. And then I handle it, and then the next thing comes up. And then that gets my attention.
That's called a sensing intellectual power. It's kind of like what dogs have. In the moment. If it's in the moment, you're on it. It's like you go to the grocery store. You're like a dog walking through. You're sniffing, you're looking at everything, you're checking everything. It takes you forever. Don't ever ask this woman to go to the grocery store to get one or two things. You better bring a book. One or two things takes an hour minimum.
Especially if you're planning a gathering.
Yeah, and especially if you're sitting in a hot car. Oh, my Lord. That's right. You are. I like that analogy. You only deal with what's in the moment. That's what animals do.
And
Humans normally have more intuitive.
I am an
thinking.
animal.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Let's see. Does anybody besides him have a problem or a question? I don't know. Oh, we do have someone. Okay, I love hosting, Carol from Winston-Salem says, but physically tiring. Any easy ideas? Yes.
Yeah, hire somebody. It is physically and can be mentally if you're the perfectionist thing, like Grace says I am, which I'm really not. But it can be tiring and physically. Well, your question's physical. I think the only way to help physical is either plan a party where everybody pitches in, which people don't really mind, or hire somebody to help you if you can afford it. I think both good ideas. What do you
I
think?
think the answer is definitely open it up, let your friends help you, and make it everybody's party. Feeling in the mood, and you can have them, even if you're doing some decorating, placing bows out or table arrangements. Friends love to help. They love to help, and you actually make them feel important. So I would say share the work, definitely, and don't strive for perfection.
Very good. Ted from St. Augustine. I love St. Augustine, Florida. We're new to town. How do you start hosting when you don't know anyone yet? Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is have a neighborhood party just to meet people. I'm trying to think of other reasons you would have a party where you don't know anybody, but I think that's a good one. How do you start hosting? I think, you go put something in everybody's mailbox within the block, depending on whether you want a gathering or a party as to the number.
I'm gonna smack him
And,
right now.
and then those people you don't really know, it's a good chance to get to know them and.
And I would say,
What would you say to that?
yeah, I would agree with that. I also think maybe knock on a neighbor's door and say you'd like to meet people, and does that neighbor have any suggestions?
Well, I'm just thinking if you're already in town and you don't know the neighbors, I know you don't want to know the neighbors, or you already know the neighbors. How else would you have a party of people that you don't know? Well, you could have a theme. If you're a member of a club, you could send out a anonymous invitation. I'm having a party. Come if you like, to the club members. There are different ways to do that to meet people.
Right. You could focus it on a particular holiday. So if you move in June, you might, for the 4th of July, put a little flag on all of your neighbors' doorsteps and say, hoping to see you, would love to have you come by for a little 4th of July cocktail, and see what happens. But you know what? I
See
think
what happens. It's
no.
That's not good.
When we moved into this house, I brought cookies for Christmas to probably 6 or 7 neighbors and got absolutely no response. So
You did 2 or 3 days later. Somebody was out of town.
well, know your neighborhood. As it turned out, a lot of our neighbors were not here half the year, and some of them weren't here for the holiday.
Right. Marsha's waiting for an answer.
Marsha's waiting for an answer. Marsha from Greenville, South Carolina. Our home is small. How can we make gatherings feel cozy and not cramped? Well, I think that
Have it outside if the weather permits would be a way to gain space. How do you make a small house? It's already cozy, but how do you make room for the people? Have it somewhere else.
I think that, you just invite people who are very friendly, very comfortable with each other, and certainly would not want to overcrowd your home. But if you're having a party, for instance, a baby shower or something, these are people who all know each other and love each other. So I wouldn't worry about feeling cramped because they know each other and love each other. But if you want to try and have a neighborhood party for people who don't know each other, then I would say limit the guest list. So if you're having family and friends.
You had a baby shower one time that you were all in one little TV room. You must have had 16 women in there. sitting on the arms of sofas and everywhere else. It was fine.
Right, because everybody knows everybody. So I wouldn't worry about that. I think that starts to fall into the perfection category. If it's people that don't know each other, limited to a smaller group. And if it's people who do know each other, they will be perfectly happy to sit on top of each other.
So to summarize this.
We have another question.
Oh, sorry. Haley, how do you handle guests with dietary needs gracefully? We have several of those.
We have several of those. And the answer is you tell them to bring their own food.
In which they don't mind doing.
Right.
You know.
Because it's impossible, especially in today's day and age. I mean, you could have a multiple number of things. So most people who have dietary needs know to bring their own food. I had a friend just the other day who said she was going somewhere for Thanksgiving and she was so upset because she couldn't eat this and she couldn't eat that. And I said to her, go to the store, buy what you need so that your host doesn't have to worry about you. And that is the best thing, you know.
So
One more question.
Oh, we got a lot
Our
of questions
big family dinners have gotten smaller. How do I keep them meaningful? Family dinners are always meaningful, number one. Number two, I think that we can remember the people who aren't with us. You know, I mean, one of the things that makes family dinners so much fun is telling stories. So you can tell stories and you can remember the people who aren't there. These days, we actually have a great resource with Zooming or Facebook or FaceTime rather. So you can always have a moment when you can connect via a video. But I think that you will always have meaningful moments. You can put pictures around, you know, of people who aren't there if you want to. But when you're family and are together, it's always meaningful. So you were going to sum things up.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Mr. Consternation.
In summing things up, you know, don't overstress. Parties can be very stressful. Don't try to be a perfectionist. Kind of talk to myself sometimes. And, you know, but basically if you're a warm person, greet everybody, be warm, friendly, talk to everybody. That's what everybody likes. Have some social interaction. Ask people how they're doing, you know, would they need something else to drink. Just be warm and sociable. Go with the flow. Go around, talk to everybody. Don't just sit with one couple or one group. And it'll work out.
Forget perfection. Be yourself. Enjoy your family and friends. That's my advice. I hope you'll join us for another LIFEcast on other fun and meaningful topics. Drop us a note, questions, anything you'd like. And we're always here to help.